With me coming up, he was like, I don't have to take this risk. I'm going to move up to the 170. I'm going to try to get another belt. And that's all, because he knows that I'm dangerous. He knows that I'm going to put him to sleep. Even Khabib. The only reason they don't want me to fight against him, because they know that I'm going to beat him.
Después de ganar en el ligero, ¿uno de tus objetivos puede ser un tercer cinturón, por ejemplo, en la categoría de welter?
Puede ser, podría ser.
¿Y Makhachev en el welter es viable?
Totalmente viable. Porque de mi parte sí. A ver, si fuera por mí, tú piensas, el sábado que viene tendríamos un UFC en España contra Makhachev en el primer asalto y en el segundo contra Paddy.
Ilia Topuria has sent a crystal-clear warning message to Islam Makhachev, and he's not holding back. The newly crowned two-division champion is making bold claims that have everyone talking. Topuria is essentially saying Islam Makhachev was always the target, but he decided to run away. But that's not all. Topuria believes both Islam and his mentor, Khabib Nurmagomedov, know exactly what would happen if they stepped into the Octagon together. Stay tuned as we break down this developing story that could reshape the entire lightweight landscape.
Is there any headway on Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena if that title fight's going to get booked soon?
I'll let you know when we get it done.
And just kind of piggybacking off that, obviously with Ilia's win, you know, everyone's really excited to potentially see a future fight with him and Islam. I know that's the fight that people wanted. Ilia said earlier this week that if Islam loses that fight, he wouldn't give the opportunity for Islam to fight for his belt again. Is that something you'd bypass? Because that seems like such a big fight to make.
I mean, this is all talk.
Speculative.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
But I imagine that's a fight you guys would want to make at some point. I mean, just the magnitude
Sure.
of it.
I mean, I'd make that fight tomorrow.
Let's dive straight into the controversy. Ilia Topuria, fresh off his stunning knockout victory over Charles Oliveira at UFC 317, is making some serious accusations against Islam Makhachev. According to Topuria, Islam wasn't his first choice of opponent. He was his primary target all along. But here's where it gets interesting. Topuria claims Makhachev deliberately avoided the fight. In a recent interview with TMZ Sports, Topuria didn't mince words. My real goal always was Islam, but since he decided to run away, it has to be Charles.
My real goal always was Islam. But since he decided to run away, it has to be Charles. But with me coming up, he was like, I don't have to take this risk. I'm going to move up to the 170. I'm going to try to get another belt. And that's all, because he knows that I'm dangerous. He knows that I'm going to put him to sleep. Even Khabib. The only reason they don't want me to fight against him, because they know that I'm going to beat him.
But wait, there's more. Topuria went on to explain his theory behind Makhachev's decision to move up to welterweight. He believes it's a calculated move to avoid a dangerous matchup. Me coming up, he was like, I don't have to take this risk. I'm going to move up to 170. I'm going to try to get another belt. And that's all because he knows that I'm dangerous. He knows that I'm going to put me to sleep.
I was expecting to fight another guy, which is Islam Makhachev, but unfortunately he ran away.
From your perspective, what happened? Why the fight versus Islam didn't come?
He talked too much in the beginning, but finally, like when he had to take a final decision, he decided to run away.
These are fighting words from a fighter who's never lost a professional fight. And he's backing them up with some serious logic. Now, this story gets even more intriguing when we factor in Khabib Nurmagomedov's involvement. The UFC legend and Makhachev's mentor has been vocal about his reservations regarding a potential Topuria fight.
I think if you move up and you beat somebody like Charles Oliveira, he's next number one. Why not? Because there is nobody. You know what I think? I think he can beat me.
Khabib recently questioned the value of this matchup, arguing that defeating Topuria wouldn't enhance Makhachev's legacy since the Georgian-Spanish fighter lacks a significant lightweight resume. But Topuria sees right through this reasoning. His response? Absolutely explosive. Khabib knows I'm the one to take the belt from Islam. Only reason he doesn't want Islam to fight me? This is where the psychological warfare really kicks in. Topuria is essentially saying that both Khabib and Islam are afraid of what he brings to the table. He's suggesting that their reluctance isn't about legacy or rankings, it's about protecting Islam's championship reign.
They talk so much bullshit. They act like they invented the sport. They talk, and at the end of the day, they do what they are told to do.
And here's the kicker. Topuria has previously claimed he could submit Makhachev with a Darce choke, which happens to be Khabib's signature move. Talk about adding insult to injury. The mental games are already in full effect, and we haven't even seen them sign a contract yet. Let's talk about what's actually happened in the Octagon. Topuria just became the new lightweight champion by absolutely demolishing Charles Oliveira in the first round at UFC 317. This wasn't just any victory, this was a statement. The lightweight title was vacated by Islam Makhachev, who moved up to welterweight to challenge Jack Della Maddalena. But according to Topuria, this timing isn't coincidental. If the UFC would offer him to fight against Justin Gaethje or another contender in the division, I think that he would stay at 155. But with me coming up, he was like, I don't have to take this risk.
Gamarjoba, Ilia. Felicidades por la victoria. Question in English. If Volk will decide to go for the second belt for the third time, will you give him a rematch in 155?
No.
No way?
We don't want to do that to Volk.
Thank you.
Now, here's where things get really interesting for the future. Topuria isn't just content with being a two-division champion. He's already looking ahead to a potential three-belt scenario. If Makhachev successfully captures the welterweight title from Della Maddalena, Topuria is prepared to bulk up even further to face him at 170 pounds. Ideally, I would love to see Islam getting the title and the UFC letting me go up to 170 and getting the third belt. This could potentially set up one of the biggest super fights in UFC history.
Islam Makhachev did an interview and said he's not ruling out coming back down to 155. But if it was up to you, would you rather fight him at 170 to get that third title, or would you be willing to fight him at 55 because that's the division that people say he might be the best at?
It would be much better for me to fight him in 170. And I will beat him and get the third title. That will be the best scenario for me.
Now, you might be thinking, can Topuria back up all this talk? Well, let's look at the evidence. The man is 16-0 professional, with his last 3 victories being absolutely legendary. He knocked out Alexander Volkanovski in February 2024, the first person to defeat Volkanovski in the featherweight division. Then he finished Max Holloway in October 2024, the first man to finish Holloway via strikes in his entire career. And just this past weekend, he added Charles Oliveira to his collection with a devastating first-round knockout. Topuria himself believes this might be the greatest run in MMA history. 3 legends. Alex Volkanovski, he was dominating the whole division. Max Holloway, another legend of the sport. And now Charles Oliveira. I think that it's the greatest run.
In a hypothetical fight against Islam, how do you see that fight going? If it goes to the ground, do you feel confident that you could out-grapple him, or would you try to keep it standing?
My mindset is always the same. I'm always looking to achieve things that no one could. So someone could submit him. I will be the first one to submit him. And
any specific submission?
Now I heard some love from some idiots, but it's gonna happen.
But here's what makes this even more compelling. Topuria has been calling out both Islam and even Paddy Pimblett for a potential UFC Spain event, claiming he'd fight both on the same night. The confidence is undeniable, and with his current trajectory, he's quickly becoming the UFC's biggest star with global appeal. So where does this leave us? The UFC now has a fascinating situation on their hands. Arman Tsarukyan, who was originally slated for a title shot, missed his opportunity due to a back injury and has been vocal about not being impressed with Topuria. But with Tsarukyan having to fight his way back, according to Dana White, the path seems clearer for other contenders.
JDM don't wrestle, but he was defending well, and he puts damage on you.
Off rip.
Starts putting damage on you, and he can box.
So how do you see that fight with him and Islam? Does he have the ability to beat a guy like Islam?
He'll get takedown attempts coming at him very early. This time. The last fight, he didn't have to deal with that when he was fresh. If Islam can start to pressure him early and take him down early, or even just make him wrestle, he might struggle. I don't know that he's ever felt anything like he's going to feel, because it's not going to be double legs and single legs with Islam. It's going to be him playing with his feet, tripping him, moving around on the octagon side, doing things that he don't recognize as freely.
But she didn't answer the question.
The problem is, like, I can only give you that because I can't truly make a prediction. The job doesn't allow it.
Daniel Cormier has weighed in on the pound-for-pound debate, suggesting that if Makhachev beats Della Maddalena for the welterweight title, he should reclaim the P4P crown from Topuria. Meanwhile, Makhachev's manager Ali Abdelaziz has already dismissed Topuria's P4P status, insisting Islam's 15-fight UFC winning streak should keep him at number 1.
If he had to fight earlier, no problem. He would have fought earlier. But when Islam go out there and finish earlier, he was almost 4-1 underdog, a favorite, right? People are going to say, and Ilia is a very skilled fighter. I'm not taking anything away from him. I respect him as a fighter. But you know, if Islam go there, starch him or beat him, right? That people are going to say he beat a 45-pounder. He beat Alexander Volkanovski 2 times. He beat a 45-pounder. You understand? He have nothing to gain. It's a great, big, but he had to.
The stage is set for what could be one of the most anticipated super fights in recent memory, if it ever happens. There you have it. Ilia Topuria has thrown down the gauntlet, and the entire MMA world is watching to see how Islam Makhachev responds. Will we see this dream matchup materialize? Can Topuria continue his historic run? And most importantly, is he right about Islam and Khabib being afraid of what he brings to the table? One thing's for certain, this story is far from over, and we'll be tracking every development. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any breaking news from the world of MMA. Until next time, this has been UFC Central, and we'll see you in the next one.